Wait, can I take my shoes off?
Yeah,
Is
of
that
course you can.
incredibly rude?
Yeah, no. They're out of frame anyway. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So.
And I've got socks on, so you won't be able to sell the
yeah.
pictures for money.
Damn it. Well, I'll get some stills later of your feet. So
Great.
G'day, mate. What's your name?
My name is Beck Charlwood.
Beck Charlwood. What do you do, Beck?
I have tricked people into giving me money by being silly.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Crowdworkcast. My name's Andrew Barnett. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's episode, Beck Charlwood, radio presenter, podcaster, and most importantly, very funny stand-up comedian. This was a lot of fun, this chat. You're going to really enjoy it. Give Beck a follow on Instagram. She is good for content. So her Instagram handle is Charl Beckwood, which is nice and confusing. There should be a link in the show notes to that Instagram, so you should be able to find it there. Also, listen to her podcast that she does with former guest Alex J, Dude Cinema Pod. I've been on it. It is very fun. It's always a good listen, so I really enjoy that podcast and cannot recommend it highly enough. So get over, have a look at that. Once again, there's a link to that in the show notes. Other than that, if you could give me a follow on Instagram, Andrew Barnett Comedy. If you're enjoying the show, like, subscribe wherever you're seeing it all. And I'd love to see you out at a gig sometime. So plenty of dates in my Instagram, so go there to find out where I'll be. Other than that, enjoy this episode. This is my chat with Beck Charlwood. Oh, this is the running theme of this podcast is comedians never having the confidence to say they're comedians, never just saying it out loud. Some people do. Like, it was funny, Aaron Chan, I did an episode with him recently, and he was very specific that he's a stand-up comedian.
Oh, good. Because you gotta let people know these days.
Yeah.
There's so many different kinds of comedians.
Yeah, you could be one of those TikTok, Instagram, like, I do characters or I do whatever.
Yeah, not one of these, not a real comedian.
No,
it is. It definitely is, and it's definitely the most profitable kind of comedian right now.
Yeah, well, it's the thing is I think with a lot of that is trying to, like, if you do one thing online, but then try and sell a live show and don't have that one, like, because I think where some people get caught up with that is if you've only got that one gear, but what is interesting online isn't necessarily always interesting for an hour in a theatre or in a comedy club. So trying to work out how to stay true to what you do online so the audience feel like they're getting the same thing, like say this is what they've signed up for, without also then just it being like a series of 90-second clips. Would be impossible. But good problem to have if you get to that point.
Yeah. I've just been like, well, I've sold all these tickets, I've made all this money. It's just the content I've got to work on.
Which is it's so often the opposite for us. That's the heart. Like that's that thing about I was talking to a comedian recently who's doing first solo. He's signed up for Fringe, and he's like, man, I feel like for the I've got the material for the hour and that'd be fine, but now I've got to learn how to sell tickets. I'm like, yeah, that's the double-sided. Yeah,
you also got to know how to be a producer now as well.
Exactly. Produce your own stuff. You did, actually, I should ask, because I was talking to you before you were doing your show at the Sydney Comedy Festival this year. We did one of those little gala things together.
Yes.
And your show was called...
Toilet Seat Time Machine.
Yes, Toilet Seat Time Machine.
We are 100% on the scoreboard of people not knowing what it's called. It was the worst name I was like, this sounds cool and interesting. No one has ever said it correctly or remembered the name.
I thought it was Toilet Seat Time Machine, but I'm like, is it toilet or just Toilet Time Machine or Toilet Seat Time? I didn't want to do that, because I've hit that age now where it's... Remember when your dad used to get names of bands and stuff wrong? Now I've realised if I stuff up, I'm sounding like my old man when he used to go, oh, yes, your Jam Pearl.
Yeah, and you're like,
it's Pearl Jam, Dad.
Yeah, Salon Dijon. Celine Dion, Mum, you should know that. That's a Pete Holmes bit.
So it sounded interesting and a little bit insane.
Yes.
One, because you were like nervous, not nervous, but there was some nervous excitement before the show because you were taking, I think in your head you were taking some big swings.
Yes.
How did it go? Are you happy with it? Like, was it as fun as you hoped it would be?
Oh, it was so fun. It was so fun. So basically the premise of it is a choose your own adventure time travel show that's based in a nightclub in 2012. So basically what happened in 2012 is I was 18 years old, the smartest I've ever been.
Yep.
And I was in this club and I just figured out the meaning of life. It just came to me so clearly and concisely. But then the next thing I did was a big line of cocaine off a toilet seat. And then forgot it.
Forgot the meaning of life.
Yes, and that's why the world is bad now and it's my fault and I'm so sorry. So what I did is I built a time machine and we go back to 2012 to the nightclub and recreate the events that happened that night in order to find the meaning of life.
Don't do drugs, kids. That's the moral of this story. Man,
they put holes in your brain like Swiss cheese.
That is 2012, I think, would be the last. Actually, I tell a lie. The last time I felt comfortable going to a nightclub was probably around that era.
Yeah.
I was at one recent. I did a gig up in Airlie Beach. I was with Lawrence Mooney and Justin Morley, who was the guy basically producing the show. And we went with some people afterward. Like they were like, "Oh, come on, we're going to this next place," because the pub was closed. And we were standing in, like, all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh man, I haven't been in a nightclub." And just watching backpackers pash and stuff, just standing with a beer off to the side. It was bizarre, but it was fun. Like, but it's like, oh yeah, no, I don't miss this heaps at all.
Yeah,
Hey.
I recently stumbled into a club and just watching how it's like. Because, like, I'm in a long-term relationship now and have been in relationships for years and years. So watching people just furiously, like, flirt with each other and, like, hook up and grind, and you're just like, oh, I have no interest in this. Oh. I feel so outside of I feel like an alien in here.
So this is a crazy thing. So we go in and I went over towards the bar and these two girls come up near, and there's this youngish bloke standing at the bar, and so I've gone over to try and get a drink, and I was buying a round actually, and these two girls come up and they're like, "Oh, we need water." Like they look like they just needed water, so let them go in front. And then the guy at the bar, this young guy, turns out to be a French bloke, just says, "Hey, what?" Like he just was like saying, so he goes, "Oh, what are you having?" And I said, "Oh, I'm getting a round." He goes, "That's all right, I'll get him." I'm like, so he bought like 4 drinks.
Oh my God.
But then so he chat to him for a bit. He's like, "Oh, I love Australia," like yeah. And then the two girls, one of them was quite drunk. She goes back to the dance floor, and her friend and just looks at the French guy, and they just start pashing and like grinding on each other for a good like 8 minutes. And I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. I've never the French are good, right? I've never seen anyone work that quick. And then all of a sudden, she just pulls back and goes, "Oh, I've got to go," and just leaves. And he's like, whatever. And I'm like,
God.
I've never seen like the arc of a relationship. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's short-term relationship, but this was maybe a 12-minute from go to woe. It was amazing.
Micro relationship.
Yeah. But I got a free drink out of it, which is the main thing.
Hey, yeah, and a show.
Yeah, and a show, and then left and bumped into those that same group that those girls were with at the kebab shop as I was leaving.
Oh wow!
So I got to see their whole arc of their evening. Their friend got the water; she was a bit too drunk, and then she was off dancing for a bit, and then got herself a kebab and sat in the gutter and ate it. Which I was like, "Wow, you girls have had a night."
Yeah, some cultures some cultural traditions have not died.
Yes.
It's so weird because I forget when you go to a nightclub, it's like when you're in there for the night, it's like you meet all these characters and they like come back and repeat throughout the night. You're like that French guy, it's like, you know, they probably bumped into him at the kebab shop as well. Or like you get chatting to them in line and then you meet someone else in the bathroom and then it's like it's like a mini festival that happens in a night.
Yeah, he was just one of those enigmas, you know. He'd just gone out on his own too, which is
psycho. No, that's terrifying.
That's a super French move. Like just this young, confident, and he was just like when he bought drinks, it's like that's what I was like. Oh, okay, he's just obviously a backpacker in town, doesn't know anyone, so he's just like, yeah, I'll buy you a drink and have a chat. And he was a lovely guy, just telling me how much he loved Australia, and then all of a sudden, he's just passioned this chick like, whoa, it was unbelievable. I was like, okay, I'm gonna look over here. I just don't want to be that guy just standing staring at the bloke you're chatting to, just macking on this chick. It was insane. So anyway, yeah, I had my kebab and went back to my hotel room and had a nap. It was great. It's good. Yeah, it's good to check in with what's going on. Nothing's changed that much.
Yeah. You know what? I was surprised in the club that I ended up in recently is the music hasn't changed that much. Like, I still heard Levels by Avicii.
Yeah, yes. That was the other thing. I was like, I'm like, oh man, they're playing heaps of songs I know. Like from when I was like, I think Akon got a run.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I remember when this was fresh. So that sort of actually made me feel a little bit better. Like, because you kind of just assume everything's moved on.
Yeah.
But I suppose when I was, like early 20s and stuff, and going to places where Akon was fresh, there still was some older stuff getting played. So, I suppose if you've got a banger that lasts, like Akon, geez, he's getting a run in this pod.
Yeah.
This might be the most
times you've mentioned Akon.
This might be the most time Akon's been mentioned on the internet in quite a while. So, you obviously stand-up comedian.
Yes.
You also do some radio.
Yes.
You also are the co-host of, for my money, one of my favourite pods, Australian pods going around. It's just a fun format. You and Alex. So I'm talking about Dude Cinema Pod. If you haven't listened to it, give it a listen. Do you guys, are you on YouTube as well, or is it just clips?
No, we're not on YouTube. We make money from the podcast, but not enough that we are willing to edit an hour-long video and export that and upload it to YouTube.
See, what you should do is take my approach, where you just don't bother editing it. And it's just a bit warts and all.
Yeah, I mean, I wish, but we are so, like, because also ours has, like, a structure and stuff to it. Oh. And we... Nothing. No, this is a fun. No, but often, you know what? The main thing we edit out is me being like, I think this is a fact, and then I say it, and then someone goes, "It's not true at all." Or I look over it, and I'm like, "You can't put that." And there's only sometimes you can say that in an episode before people get annoyed.
Yeah.
So that's what we mostly edit out.
Which is fair enough. Yours. It's a. What I like about that is it is a tight format in terms of it's got definitely like segments and elements and like a structure that you're working towards, but it's not so tight a format that there's not room to play and room to like follow off down little rabbit holes and come back and that sort of stuff. So when I did your pod a little while ago.
Yeah, not too long ago.
And that was so much fun. So for anyone that hasn't heard your podcast, just give a quick breakdown of what the premise is.
The premise is me and my best friend and comedian Alex J. We're sick of dudes telling us what movies to see and making us feel stupid for not seeing things like The Godfather, Pulp Fiction, and basically just, if you know, you know. If you don't, you might be the problem. But yes, When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
And so we now have a podcast where we review all those movies and tell you what we honestly think about them, and we're not movie experts at all.
But that's part of what I really like about it too, is it's just an honest opinion from consumers.
Yeah.
Because I think when people go too far into one field that they become too expert in.
Yes.
Then the tastes naturally, and it's a natural thing, would change and become more refined, and they're looking for not the simple structure or not the simple good film that your average punter is going to watch on a Saturday night and take stuff out of it. They want to be challenged more.
Yes.
And I don't know about you, and especially the older I get, man, I am... Like, I've got to be in a real, a mood to be challenged by a movie. Now, yes. I'm like, listen, this is my occasional couple of hours I get to sit and just tune my brain and just watch something that just takes me out of my reality.
Yes, and that's what I want from movies too. It's like, I just want to tune out for a second. I just want to go somewhere else, and I don't want to have to think too hard or feel too many emotions.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind an Inception or something like that, where what I'm thinking is, what the fuck is going on?
Yes.
Like, I remember seeing Fight Club with my mates when it first came out in the cinema, and one of my mates, at the point where it started to like, oh, this is all sort of something's not right here.
Yeah.
Just leans forward in the cinema and just loud as goes, "What the fuck is going on?" And it was it was giggles through the cinema, but it was like that. Everyone was having the same like, huh? Because you thought you were watching one movie and it changed. So what is your like? So Saturday night you got a night off. You've ordered like a pizza. You got a bottle of red or what is red? Whatever wine is your choice. Or
I'm an adult enough that I drink red wine.
Well, no, I'm not, no judgment. My wife doesn't drink red wine, so that's she's like, yeah, I wish she did because it'd give me an excuse to drink more red wine.
Yeah.
So now I either have to go, I've got 3 nights I can split a bottle across, or let's face it, I've got 2 nights I can split a bottle across.
I was going to say, yeah.
Because so I so you've got your bottle of red, you've got your pizza or whatever.
Yeah, snacks.
It's cold, it's raining, you're tucked up on the lounge. You've got your fella in his place, like giving you a foot rub or whatever, whatever servile thing he needs to do to keep you happy. And then what are you popping on the streamer or in the DVD player?
Oh, my dream movies are Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels?
Yes, Full Throttle is my favorite. The movie Jennifer's Body. That one's got Megan Fox in it, and she plays a possessed woman who murders boys to make herself more beautiful.
I think I remember that vaguely coming out. Yeah.
Yes.
Peak Megan Fox.
Yes. Yeah. And it was advertised as like a horror movie, but really it's a movie about teenage girl friendships deep down. And it's very campy.
And murdering boys.
Yes. Yeah. It's almost like a satire. And then Beetlejuice is another one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, Beetlejuice is great. I forgot how dark that was. We started to watch that with the kids a while ago, and it was like, oh man,
not a kids movie.
This starts horrendously.
Yeah, it's got like first of all, it begins with a couple dying and then being trapped in what is purgatory in their house as ghosts, and then there's also a child wedding in there as well.
Yeah, there's some heavy themes.
Yes.
If you're trying to explain stuff to a kid, I think that's one of the things that's changed a lot too. Because I remember seeing that as maybe a 13-year-old, 12 or 13-year-old, and it was just nothing like. And I don't think mum and dad would have had any clue what. Like it was sort of like, okay, go watch. This is a kids' movie, so
yeah, we've seen the poster. It looks colourful. Go.
Yeah. And I think some of those sensibilities have changed a little bit. Like now, because now I've watched a few things with. One of my favourite things now to do is my kids are at that age where now they're old enough to watch, interesting films, watch that sort of stuff that you're all into. And one of the things my wife and I have been really enjoying doing is showing them a bunch of the stuff we remember from when we were kids.
Yes, you were saying this on our episode of the podcast.
Yeah, but then some of it you go like, wow, I saw this at 12. This is pretty full on, man.
Yeah, so many movies that
used to be way more sex in films, or just weird nudity, or just
or a lot of like very passionate child relation, like often between two kids, where it's like, but you're like, this is a very like adult romance for kids.
Yeah. You've written an adult romance and made kids play it out, which is and then you wonder why child stars all ended up fucked up. But
yes,
it was so that's Charlie's Angels. So is that a genre? Like, is there a particular genre you like, or is it just a bit of movie by movie?
I guess kind of like campy movies I really like. That are like colourful and bright and like a bit cheesy and like over the top, and there might be like something that's a bit scary or tense, but I don't like anything that's sad. I don't like like occasionally I'll dip in when I need to feel something, but it's like a once a 6 months. I would go for like The Whale or a Shawshank Redemption.
The Whale just looks freaky to me.
Yeah,
I see that come up in my list, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I don't need to see an overweight Brendan Fraser.
I have mixed thoughts about the ideas of film raisins and everything, but I know I will watch it eventually when I'm low, and I go, why don't we go lower?
Oh man, I don't, because that's my thing, is like these people, like these things like films that want to, like this filmmaker, he wants to make you feel uncomfortable. It's like, dude, I'm uncomfortable the rest of my life. This is
Every day I wake up anxious. I don't need more.
yeah, no, he wants to make me feel uncomfortable. Yeah, no, look, make me drop the kids off at school and have a bunch of parents know my name and I don't know theirs. That's that's uncomfortable. I don't need to sit in my own lounge room and be made to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, I don't need a Stanley Kubrick to make me feel uncomfortable. The most uncomfortable I may have ever felt in my entire life.
What is the worst of those, like, dude cinema, the ones you've been made to watch for the ones you've made yourselves watch for the pod? What's the absolute worst one?
Absolute worst that we've watched. Actually, there was one for the longest time that was hands down the worst, but recently we had a new one overtake. Originally it was High Fidelity.
High Fidelity with
yes, John Cusack.
John Cusack. I like that. I remember when that came out. I saw
that
that on VHS.
Oh, rewatch it now,
Really?
and you will mine will be blown about how awful that man is. Because, like,
But he's John Cusack. He's so charming.
I know. And even to a point where it's like, I know it's meant to be like self-aware, and he's like an anti-hero essentially of it.
Yeah.
But if you go back, there's some stuff about sexual assault. That's
Oh, really?
handled not in a great manner.
That's disappointing.
I would have turned off halfway if it wasn't for Jack Black.
Jack Black's very
Yeah.
Jack Black will charm his way through a movie.
Yeah.
Well, that's because I remember seeing that. What year's High Fidelity? That'd be
2000 and something early.
right around that. I remember
In 2003.
I think I remember maybe getting that on DVD from Five Doc, from the it must have been a Blockbuster or Video Easy, and they it was funny because we were in there one night, me and one of the guys I was living with had gone down. We just like we were getting a case of beer and just a couple of we're gonna rent some movie, just sit at home, watch a couple of silly comedies or whatever.
Rad.
So we're literally down the back looking at weeklies, and we just hear, just open the till. And then the place was getting robbed. So then we were like,
shit.
Man, this is so annoying. This guy held him up with a knife, and we had to hang around and give statements and stuff. It was so annoying.
And then you watch the movie afterwards?
Yeah. It was like we were literally going down. We'd ordered dinner. And we're like, man, now we're going to ring it. Hey, can we just put that on hold? We're just going to give statements.
That's so funny that it's like the whole time this poor employee has just had the worst night of their life.
Yeah. He's had a
And you're
nice
like, I'm so sorry, that sucks, but can we get these?
guys.
Is there a deal going for 4 weeklies at the moment?
Yeah. Oh,
Sorry,
man.
5 weeklies.
Well, that was at one point. I my cousin who I was there with, who's was the guy I was staying with. We were there, and I'm sort of there was a pregnant lady. So I've rung 000, and there's a pregnant lady afterwards. So I'm like, oh, maybe we get an ambulance because she was in a bit of a panic, and it's people. So I'm helping get there, and then the police are there, and then the police officers get my note. And so who are you here with? And I'll say, my cousin. And I look around, and he's down in the corner just watching. You know how they used to have the TV?
The screens, the little trailers.
He's just watching the previews of movies. I'm like, you idiot, get over here. You saw the
A
guy.
crime has happened.
Yeah. It was funny because he got all what do we do? And I'm like, dude, he's got a knife. Just remember what he looks like. This will be fine. It's just some cash in a video shop. But yeah, so
he's robbing the Video Easy. It's not a bank. There's only so much money there he's after. He probably needs it, if anything.
Yeah. He had a strong maybe he probably had to rob that Video Easy to go pay his overdue fines at Blockbuster.
Yeah.
It was do you remember that the overdue fines?
Yes.
They used to charge a fortune. It's still on still every now and then on up until that one closed down. That was one of the last video stores to close down, that one. I think it was at 5 Doc. But they used to message on your birthday and say, oh, happy birthday, have a free weekly or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I remember my cousin sent me a text saying, check out this. And he got a thing, hey, have you returned this video because we're closing down? And he's like,
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You're already bankrupt. I can't save you. My DVD copy of The Neverending Story isn't going to save you guys. Sorry.
Neverending Story, good film.
Good film. But I remember a friend of mine in primary school, her mum had $600 in overdue fines.
What?
And even today, I'm like, I can't fathom how long you would have had those and how it got to 600.
You'd be surprised because those weeklies, if you're like, because I remember they were like $6 or $8 a night or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's still a long time, but you start adding them up. But then some of them used to like, if you haven't paid for a month, and they double. Like they're just, it was the Wild West.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's $600 in overdue fines. Did you grow up? Where'd you grow up? Because Perth. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, a few things falling into place.
People always say that, and I'm too scared to ask more questions.
No, because I suppose for someone to have, like, because I knew people who, like, my brother was a special for it. His fines would get, like, stack up at one place. Never $600 worth.
Yeah.
So he'd just start using the other.
You go from Video Easy to Blockbuster.
Yeah. And then eventually after a month and a half and you haven't come in, they go, oh, we're going to waive your fines. So you just go, so you just skip from place to place. But that was when we were in Newcastle and you could do that.
Yeah.
When we were in Corowa, which was much smaller, it was the Globe video shop and you weren't going to...
Wow, not even a franchise.
Oh, no.
Wow.
No, it was called the Globe because it was across the road from the Globe Hotel.
Damn. I mean, they call it like you see it.
Yeah, Globe Videos. I remember that. That was all VHS then, though. That was pretty hardcore.
Yeah, damn.
I remember talking about movies that you saw earlier. I remember for my 13th birthday or 14th birthday, I had a couple of friends over for a sleepover.
Nice.
Go down, hire a couple of movies, and we hired White Men.
Nostalgia is running through me.
Oh, I know. Well, we hired White Men Can't Jump.
And a great boys sleepover movie.
Sitting there with the two mates and Mum's just like eyes wide, like, oh my God, what have I let them... Because and that original one too, every second, like even just when they're playing basketball, motherfucker this, motherfucker that, like N words going, like it was insane. And so Mum was just sitting there like, oh my God, like looking.
What have I done?
Looking at it because she knows the parents of the kids that are having the sleepover. She's like, oh my God, I don't want them to repeat any of this too. So I think she saw that one as a mistake, but.
I remember the biggest movie that I watched at a sleepover was Mean Girls when it came out.
Oh.
And because I wasn't allowed to watch any M movies growing up.
Mean Girls when it came out?
Yes.
How old are you?
I would have... How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm 29.
29, yeah. I just felt really old.
Don't tell Hollywood. I've got one more year left.
Oh, man. I just felt... geez, I'm going to have to stop listening to that pod next year.
When she becomes relevant. But because I wasn't allowed to watch any M movies, and I was, I think, 11 at the time that it came out.
Oh, my God. I was a grown human being with a job.
Yeah. we were going to watch it at a sleepover, and one of the mums had to write, I had to call my mum and be like, I think it's important that girls watch this because, they're going into high school in a few years and this, explains a lot of the hierarchies and female friendships and stuff. And it's like, yes, it's rated
Tina
M.
Fey's a great writer.
Yes, yeah. And it took I remember everyone was like, why can't your mom just say yeah? It took so much to get her over the line. So
really?
Yeah. So when she finally did, we were like, yes.
So did you have a strict upbringing, would you say?
Yeah. I wasn't allowed to watch anything other than the ABC, except for Australian Idol. That was the one time we were allowed to go over to Channel 10, which was very exciting. And we also only listened to ABC. I can't remember what the number was, but only allowed to listen to news in the car. We didn't listen to music. Wasn't allowed to listen to any music with swear words. If I bought a CD, Mum had to listen to it all first.
Wow.
Yeah. We were only allowed half an hour of screen time, which is probably a good thing.
This all explains a lot about your stand-up, how it's so just reserved and you don't talk about anything personal.
Yes, exactly. It hasn't flipped over to the other side where there's a swear word in every sentence and everything's X-rated.
Wow. So was there a religious element or just a genuine?
No, just because I think Mum worked in media, so she was very protective about what is good things for you to consume and what's not. And so yeah, and because also everything was new, like the internet was new, like having just like endless like TV for like 24 hours and so many different channels and everything was kind of new. And like, yeah, like, so she was very cautious and anxious about everything more than it was about, yeah, I think more trying to protect us than any, not religious, yeah, at all.
Yeah, okay. It's interesting. I get that instinct from a parent's point of view, because it's something, and it is, especially with newer stuff, like it's hard to know where that line is of what's good for kids, because teenage years, your brain is so just it is.
There's a reason teenagers see Fight Club and they go, I need to know everything. I think I do know everything, but this is cinema and I don't understand why no one else has seen this movie but me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. My 14-year-old son has recently discovered a lot of 90s music. Like he started with Nirvana. He's mad for his guitar, so he plays. It's great for me because he'll play like the stuff he's learning. Like, I'm like, I remember this. I like
it makes
this.
you so
This is
proud.
good,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, good.
But
Thank God it's not Post Malone or whatever.
Well, I remember when he started to get Nirvana, he's just, but straight away he was like, dude, this is the best album, and he's talking about Bleach. And I'm like, no, that's not their best album.
Bleach is their best album.
No.
I think Bleach is their best
No.
album.
So, yeah,
what do you
that's
think
what
it is?
To be honest, their best is like the one I'll put on and enjoy most at the moment is probably
In Utero?
In Utero or
Nevermind.
Well, Nevermind. Nevermind's their best album. Like you can't say it's not because
I think it's got some diamonds on there. I don't think, and I was, God, I hate what I'm saying. I've become this music fucking asshole
the
now.
Triple J come out in you now. So, but that's, I remember, like, so I'm being older than you, I remember that, like, I didn't rediscover them later. Like,
Yeah,
I
it was all
remember when
happening
it was
at the
all
time.
happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Nevermind probably is the best album. I still think their Unplugged album in New York. Like,
okay. Are we counting Unplugged as an album?
Yes.
Okay, all
yes,
right.
I am, because I had it on. And I still do, actually. I've got it on DVD.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's great. But that was also because there was a bunch of those, like Unplugged, the series. But that was, to me, there's like maybe a few that stand out. There was Eric Clapton did one that was like, that's where Tears in Heaven, that recording of Tears in Heaven that everyone knows. That was on that, and then their one, because there's so many versions of songs that are like, just hearing both versions, the album version and even About a Girl, like that, just amazing.
It does slap
version.
live, yeah.
So
with MTV Unplugged, you know what's a real pearl that
what's that?
I discovered through, unfortunately, Deadpool. Was you know the song? So many movie references.
You almost got a spit take out of me there.
Is you know Take On Me by a-ha.
Yes.
They did an MTV Unplugged and they did an acoustic version of Take On Me, and it is beautiful. It's one of the best live acoustic covers I've ever heard.
Well, because that's a tough song in terms of range. So I think I've seen that. I'll have to.
Yeah,
I'll do some YouTube
it.
in the Savo. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, around it. Oh, but we were talking about what's the worst movie on the podcast I've ever seen. Originally it was High Fidelity. Recently we watched a movie called Dead Man's Shoes. Do not watch it. Do not watch it. It is one of the most. You wouldn't have heard of it.
No.
I think it cost $100,000 to make, and it made maybe $300,000 at the box office. It was like a director's first ever.
So who made you? Who?
The comedian Andrew Bensley, who is, this is the thing, I wasn't expecting it. He is a lovely man. A lovely man, a lovely guy, very funny, very charming, host of Community Notice Board, a very wholesome,
Another
fun
good
podcast.
pod.
Yeah. And so then when he recommended this movie, I was like, I've never heard of this. Let's give it a go. It's only available on YouTube in very low definition.
God.
And it was... I don't like to overuse the word triggering, but there is every kind of assault, every troubling topic you could think of happens in this movie, and it is like all happens on it's all shot on like a handy cam, so it feels really real. It feels almost like home footage of this stuff, which is so much more disturbing. And I said on the pod that I forgave him. I'm still working towards it.
Oh, no. That is, that one, I got to be honest, that sort of surprises me. When you said...
It shocked me. It shocked me to my core.
Because he could, I could see him being into some off-the-wall stuff.
Yeah.
He's pretty big rugby league fan, so his tolerance for...
Oh, yuck! I should have known! No, I don't know enough about sport to judge it.
No, he's, wow, I will avoid that. I was in New Zealand recently, and I was at the Classic, and there was a comedian there who I think also works at the Classic, was talking about this movie that it's a 16-hour movie.
Oh, what? Why?
You're watching 3 parts, and I'm like, oh man, and he goes, and the more he described it, the worse it sounded, and because there was a few of the other, and they were sort of like interested, like, oh, is this maybe? I'm like, no, 16 hours. Who's got 16 hours?
Yeah,
like life's not that long.
You're just admitting that you don't have a lot on.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of friends. You're not very busy. If you're watching a 16-hour movie, God, if it gets to 2.5, I'm like, this is rude.
Yeah,
this is so rude.
And that's where 2.5 now is at least you can pause and go. But like I remember when Titanic came out, and it's like you had to plan your drinks.
Yeah.
Otherwise you were going to miss. And the only bit anyone really wanted to see was the on the guy that fell and hit the
propeller.
That was the you didn't want to do your pee break during that. But
yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 hours. Like I think, and I know it's bad that our attention spans are getting shorter, but if you're gonna watch if you want to show me something that's 16 hours, it better be a 3-season or 2 seasons of a really, really good show that I can binge. Like I'm more than happy for something like that, but like there doesn't seem to be a need for a 16-hour movie.
God, no. Also, I'm such a big fan of efficiency, and I think that stories can be told so well in 90 minutes. Also with comedy specials, a lot of comedy specials don't need to be an hour long. 45 minutes, I think, is the ideal time for comedy.
Especially now where I think attention spans are getting shorter. Like, and it's interesting. I don't know if you've noticed this. There's newer comics that I've started to notice that their style is like almost you're like, okay, so your awakening to comedy came because you've been watching it on TikTok or Reels.
Yeah, you've been
or
watching it in like minute sections.
Yeah, so everything's in 90-second bits. They're not, it's a different, not a criticism in any way, like, but it's just an
it's going to be very profitable for them in the future.
Well, that's the thing. Oh man, how much do you do a lot of clips and that sort of stuff on your socials, or are you?
I need to do more.
I feel like everyone says that, but no one watching Instagram or Reels just goes, man, we need to see more of this. Like we all think we've got to be putting it out, but it's that, I don't know what the solution is at the moment.
I think as a comedian, you should try to put out, even if it's not stand-up, just like one clip a week. I think because the internet is the only way that comedy can go from now. All like live aspects, it's like it's you can still gain a following from live performing, but ultimately to people to stay up to date with you, they will need
they need
to follow you online somewhere.
The other thing is they need to know where you're going to be. Where, like, the amount of times, I don't know about you, but like you do like a festival show and you feel like you've promoted the shit out of it and you get bored of it. Oh my God,
you feel so annoying.
Yeah, but then you bump into someone 3 weeks later, like, oh man, when are you doing like shows or something? I'd love to come. She's like, you're
like, my $700 in sponsored advertising wasn't enough. Really? That's so interesting.
But I think we don't you don't realize that, like, you know, it doesn't matter how many followers you've got, there's only a percentage of them that are ever seeing everything you put up anyway. So like that's a big adjustment for me because I don't know about you, I get real self-conscious about it all.
Oh, me too. That's why the pandemic was the only time that I was posting so much in the pandemic because I had one time to edit. And also was being paid to just sit at home. So I was like, well, why not use this time to edit? And I needed the attention because we weren't allowed to gig. So I was like, this is the perfect motivation for me to do this. And I found that super beneficial and really good to connect with like a new audience and be like, oh, people actually liked my stand-up. Just because I bombed at fucking Sweeney's 3 weeks in a row doesn't mean turns out people like some of this stuff. Just the 20 people that showed up to that didn't. And I think, I want to post more and keep it up because I think it's vital now.
Yeah, I'm trying to post more, and that I find watching my own stand-up and trying to...
Oh, it's awful.
Oh,
it's so painful.
It's like just trying not to throw up in your own mouth watching it. Like, oh, what are you doing? Like, and then realising, like, I know, like, my festival show in Sydney this year, we filmed one of the nights with the idea that we'll get a bunch of clips.
Yeah.
So it'll be great. And then on the night even, I was like, wow, I'm swearing way too much.
Yeah.
Like and I was like...
And there's only so much you can edit the clip to make it look better.
I haven't seen any of them yet, but I'm like, that's going to be useless. That was money just wasted.
Yeah.
I got someone at the door. I'm not going to answer it though because I don't know.
Oh,
I'm not expecting anyone. That could be... Someone's just rung the doorbell. Could be some sort of evangelist.
Oh, get him on the pod.
My soul does need saving. So, but that's like, I don't know about you, but as soon as I'm too conscious about, like, I think I just need to get in the habit of just taking a little camera along, filming more of my sets, not being as precious about it, and just getting it out there because, I mean, it does make a difference, and you see that. Yourself, but there still is that. It's just that weird self-conscious feeling that I don't like. But I'm also a big believer that stand-up is a live.
Oh yes, it's always going to be best live.
So but without the online stuff, how do you get people to come see the live? So
exactly,
just trying to work out how to get what translates. Like I know a lot of people putting up crowd work clips and that sort of stuff at the moment, which is probably a little oversaturated.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Crowd work is way oversaturated. But a good thing is now that this is my prediction, or what I feel is happening, is the tide is turning. Because everything in pop culture does have a saturation point. Yep. And now I'm seeing a lot of parody of crowd work clips. And I'm like, it's happening.
We're parodying crowd work.
Yes, well, it means that it's like the next fad will be something else. Yeah. And I'm hoping it'll be well-written stand-up. Something that's always been applauded accurately.
I'm hoping that it'll be half thought out stand-up.
But also you shouldn't be self-conscious posting. You've been doing stand-up for ages and you're very good at it. Your worst sets would still be better than a lot of people posting stuff multiple times a week. Their best sets. Yeah,
I don't know. It's just, I feel like I was just too old for... this generation of that instinctive, because when social media came around, by that stage I didn't care. Like I've never, like I got an Instagram because I'm doing comedy, not because I wanted to look at Instagram. So like I don't know, like part of what I feel like is like the good bit about it, the social media doesn't, like, I don't have this need to be on it, or the good thing is also sort of sometimes you got to get past that instinct for work purposes, which is a bit of a different thing, which I'm getting better at, I hope. But it's also too, like, I don't know about you, but like sometimes I'll take my little camera along to do a set, and then I get there and I'm like, I don't know where I put it. Well, I just won't worry about this one. And it's like, dude,
and someone always makes a freaking comment. Someone's like, "Oh, you're setting up your camera." It's like, yeah. I want to eat.
I'm trying to do this for a living.
Yeah, I want to be able to make a purchase in 3 years' time. Yeah. I want to be able to. Hey, for me, I'm like, I would like to have a baby in the next 5 years. I've got to get frickin' posting.
Yeah, you want your Ali Wong pregnant special.
Yeah,
to go big.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna need a savings account also beforehand before I even consider getting pregnant.
It's a dumb way to make a living, but it's so much better than working.
And the people that are posting to us online are making the most money.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when you join those dots, like logically it all makes sense.
Yeah.
I just have this weird thing that I need to get past. But
yeah, well, you're the creative. It's like learning to be the production side as well as
It feels a bit
I don't
weird.
want to look at me. I want to be me on stage, and that's where I want it to end. I
Yeah.
don't want to have to look at me be like, look at me be so funny.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just
Do I
like,
cut
oh,
it?
shut up, shut up, shut up.
Also, too, like I feel like my instinct with cutting a joke is like, no, but I really like this bit. I'm like, yeah, that's not the funny bit for the clip.
Yeah, they didn't laugh the hardest at that
You
bit.
need to just do just this tiny bit, and that's all they actually need. And it's like,
Yeah.
just learning that sort of, because it's the what's funny for online is a little bit different to what's funny in the room in some ways. So it's just learning those differences. But that's also part of the fun of this job, in that it's never really finished and never solved.
Yeah.
So there's always something new to learn, which is great. Now, one thing I've done is some performing on cruise ships, but I've never been on a cruise ship as a passenger.
Yes.
Now, talking about content, some of your content that's been entertaining me no end for the last little bit is you recently went on a cruise with extended family, is it?
Yes,
Like
it was a 4-day carnival cruise. Just doing a lap up to just off the coast of Brisbane and coming
Yep.
back down to Sydney.
Just the Yui cruise.
Just the UE cruise. It's a great
Just
way
go
to put
out,
it.
go out, do a Yui, come back.
Yeah. And it was for my gorgeous grandpa's 90th birthday.
Oh, wow.
So, yes, this was, in this cost of living crisis, I wasn't going on a fancy cruise holiday on my dime. That was not me. That was Grandpa John.
We'll see. So I am actually probably...
Oh, yes, you're
depending when
going
I-
on a cruise soon.
Yes, depending when I post this, I'm not 100% sure of the timetable yet, but I am, as we record this, about a week away from going on a family cruise with my just my immediate
The
family.
inner circle.
Yeah, wife and kids. They've all wanted to go on cruises for a long time. I have had... Because
it's work for you. It's like if someone came up to you and was like, "Do you want to go to do you want to pay tickets to go to a comedy show this weekend?" You go, "Absolutely not. I wouldn't pay tickets to go sit in your HR office.
Yeah.
I don't want, why?"
Exactly. But and this is one of the dynamics of my relationship with my wife, is I never want to do anything.
Yeah.
Just in general. Like I'm such...
Well, you go out for a living.
But
It
that's
ruins
the
being fun.
I am the ultimate in inertia. Like if I'm comfortable, safe on the lounge, I'm happy to be comfortable, safe.
Yeah.
If I'm doing stuff, I'm happy to keep doing stuff. But so
You're
yeah,
I'm a momentum person as well.
Yeah. So she'll often be like, "We should do this. We should," and I always try and go, like, I don't want to like necessarily always want to do stuff, but whenever I do stuff because I'm going, okay, well, she wants to do it, we'll do it. I always end up having a great time, and I'm glad that I did. So this was the thing with the cruise, is she's always wanted to do it, and I was like, you know what, it's like I think it's 9 days or something, or 11 days or something away.
Oh, it's a long one.
Yeah, we're just going out to check out some islands and stuff.
It's a bit nice. Once you can get off the boat a couple of times, I think that's different to
Yeah.
being like locked in.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, it's with the family. Like, we need a family holiday. It'll actually be, and it'll be good, because one of the things I do love about having done them is you're genuinely out of touch, because the internet prices on those things are ridiculous, and the internet never works
Yeah.
really well.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like, okay, I'll be off the grid for a few days. But
Yeah.
watching your content, what tips do you have? First off, give us some highlights from your...
Okay.
Because if you haven't, if people haven't seen it, your Instagram is
Charles Beckwood.
Charlwood, which is not confusing at all. for
No,
people just
hey,
trying
it's
to
better
find it.
than the last one, which was Beck Loves Food, which people are like, why? Why? It's because I used to be a personal trainer in another life, and I used to just post every meal and paleo recipes and other toxic shit.
You should see if you were still like, if you were like just going to restaurants and eating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would make sense.
It
There was
makes
probably
sense.
some restaurant review out there that's been dying for the handle for years, just watching me post my dumb little clips, being like, she doesn't even use it.
Why? Why is she talking at stage? She needs to be eating.
I want to put this filet mignon online, goddamn.
Sounds like Beck loves crowd work.
Sounds like Beck loves herself. Okay.
Well, I think that's the sub thing to every Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
So,
But
yes.
Charles Beckwood, you can just type in Beck Charlwood, it will come up.
Yep.
And so it was 4 days with my entire extended family. So that's cousins, uncles, aunties, 15 of us in total.
Oh, wow.
And my boyfriend very accurately described my entire family with, well, actually, energy.
Well,
Which was the most brutal and honest roast everyone is very political and argumentative and
Really?
loves to debate. The number of Christmases that we've had ruined because someone pulled up too many articles and is like, well, what you don't understand about this part of the, I know it's gross. I know.
Because we've got a bit of that in my family. We like a vigorous discussion. It comes from my grandfather. My mum's father was always the big, and him, and to my mum's one of 8. And so her brothers and my dad used to all get into real political. But the one thing no one will ever do is use supporting research. We're all vibe people. You know what I mean?
Well,
I'll
it starts vibe, and then no one has any boundaries. So all of a sudden the Google comes out. We were now, also it's changed now as well because, half the family is boomers, half is millennials, half of them own houses, half of them don't. And I would love you to guess which half is half. But
the millennials own all the property.
Of course, we're snatching it up. But so the housing crisis, which is deeply affecting one half of the family and not so much the other, was a regular argument topic. And we were sitting at our third housing crisis debate at the buffet while people are just planning whether they're going to go to bingo or just do cocktails by the pool. My uncle got so frustrated, he paid for the premium internet package at the table to look up an article that he read from The Guardian 2 months ago.
That's amazing.
We were like, put the phone down, Gavin. Put it down.
I love the setting for debating a housing crisis that's seen actual people not have houses. Is the buffet on a cruise ship. It could not be more let them eat cake.
It's so let them eat cake.
I love that.
It was so crazy. Someone was saying people say now eat the rich, and half the table was like, I've never heard anyone say that. And you were like, you're going to live in a different world.
Yeah. That's, oh man, that's just the perfect conversation for a cruise ship.
So perfect. So that was a recurring topic. And I mean, what was another highlight? Oh, highlight was day 3 was when everyone was kind of like out of steam. Like we were all hungover. We'd had like grandpa's big birthday dinner, and the game was just to try and avoid each other for the day, just so everyone had time to cool off. But there's 15 of us on a cruise ship, and
which, when you first get on a cruise ship, you go, this thing's massive.
It's huge. God, we'll get lost in here.
Yeah, and after a day and a half, you're like, this thing's tiny.
Yeah. I have seen the same people. I see the same people every 10 meters.
Yeah.
Trying to find a quiet corner of a cruise ship is impossible, let alone trying to dodge 15 people while doing it. So that was just like, it was like bumper cars. You'd like see someone and you'd be like, yep, I'm going this way now. Like if you would walk, I remember walking into the gym and seeing my cousin on the treadmill, us locking eyes, and her just being like, all right, turning off the treadmill and walking out. Just being like, all right, you win. You're allowed the gym now. This is your space.
Of all the places that are generally quiet on a cruise ship too, the gym is your safe haven.
Yeah, not a lot of people in the gym.
No, it's usually, in my experience, it's usually a couple of the entertainers and some staff that aren't on shift.
Yes. Yeah. That was most of the gym. So those were the highlights. And my tips for survival is, because you're in a smaller group, that's fantastic. Have times where it's like you just, half the day, you do your thing and we'll do our thing. And at this time, we'll meet up later on. I think having the first few days, you'd be like, we're going to do every activity together. It's going to be so fun. No, don't be tricked. Take breaks in between.
Take breaks.
Yeah. Every time you see hand sanitizer, use it. That's my other tip is it is absolutely no mystery how COVID spread like wildfire as soon as you get on there and you realize how much everyone's touching everything and in close proximity.
Are you a germaphobe anyway?
No, I wasn't until I got on the ship. And I think my hands were pruned from how many times they use hand sanitizer, and everyone else got like a bit sick. Everyone else picked up a cold by the end of it. I didn't, except for the last day at the buffet. I forgot to Sanny because me and my mum were having a debate about.
Always Sanny walking in. That's why it's at the door.
Yes, and I missed it. And then me and my mum were having a heavy debate. Well, not a heavy debate. Everyone was at their wit's end, and she was like, "What are we doing for Christmas?" And we were like, "Nothing. We're not seeing anyway. Closing the windows, and we're not talking to anyone at Christmas. That's what we're doing." And I was in such a rage, I forgot to Sanny, and I got a real bad stomach bug when I got home.
Oh, yeah. That's the. I remember one time being on a ship, and I got on, and the ship had an outbreak. On that leg that I was finishing. So I was Sanny, but then I got off in Auckland, like I was on maybe 2 nights, and then I got off in Auckland when they were changing passengers. So I got off in Auckland just to kick around for the day. And as I was getting off, there were all the staff in like full-on hazmat doing a deep clean of it. I'm like, oh man, they do not mess around. This was a bad one.
Yeah.
You couldn't serve yourself at any of the buffets. Everything was covered in cling wrap, and they like all the touch surfaces, they cover them in cling wrap, and after every meal, then they go around and undo it and then redo it. So, yeah, that's
I think they should have kept that, honestly. I saw someone grab a boiled egg with a bare hand in the buffet, and I was like, throw it all out, burn it all down.
That's no good. Because that's the thing too, is if you ever do end up on the ships doing entertainment, and I say end up.
How dare you?
No, it's actually fun. Like if you take the right approach to it, and it's not like, if that's not the only goal you have, you're not gonna, especially Carnival where they make you they want you to have your 5 half-hour shows. You're not getting off. If you're doing that, you're not getting off a worse comedian if you approach it the right way. It's a new challenge. So, but the thing I learnt from that is you've just got to boundaries.
Ooh, boundaries. Yep.
Or if you do, this was a tip one of the comedians gave me, is they said if you ever just feel like do not even jokingly mention that you might have had a bit of diarrhea, they will lock you in your room.
Whoa.
So they said, it's a way some people have used to get out of shows, but then that's you're in your room for 3 days. And
oh my God.
They are not big rooms.
Yeah.
And stuff,
I had a room with a balcony, which was very nice.
Yeah, well, that's what this will be.
You got the balcony rooms?
Balcony rooms.
Yes.
So that's what. That's gonna be nice and a big change, because I've never, when you performing on them, you're not exactly getting a balcony room. So, it should be fun.
Because I had a balcony room, which was amazing, and the number of times I went out on the balcony just to put my head in my hands and being like, "The fuck is wrong with this family?" And then my younger brother had the most annoying bit that he would do is because we had an adjoining room. And the balconies, you can open them between.
Wow.
Yeah. And he would open it and be like, ahoy, hoy. I'm like, get out. Get out of my room.
Oh, man, I know what I'm doing with the kids now. That's going to be so fun. Well, that's about time. Beck, where can people find you on the internet? Just plug away whatever you want to plug.
Okay, I'll keep this short. Instagram is the best place to find me and stay up to date with what I'm doing. Child Beckwood. We discussed this earlier. Look, you can try Facebook. That's the second option. TikTok, I will not answer any messages on there, but if that's your vibe, I've got stuff up there for you to watch. Podcasts, Dude Cinema.
Yep.
Check it out.
Excellent. Mate, thank you so much for doing this. There will be a link to Beck's Instagram in the show description, so you'll be able to find it there if you're having trouble finding Charles Beckwood. Mate, thank you very much for doing this.
That was fun.
Thank you
for having me.